Alive and Well STL is a presentation of the St. Louis Regional Health Commission and Rare Gem Productions to build a healthier St. Louis. Power up with the positive. Learn more at oneraregem.com. That's ONERAREGEM.com.
Support for Alive and Well STL comes from Beyond Housing, helps entire communities become better places to live. Learn more at beyondhousing.org.
The Regional Health Commission works in partnership with regional health sector advocates and stakeholders to improve healthcare access, reduce health disparities, and improve health outcomes for the uninsured and the underinsured in St. Louis City and County.
Alive and Well STL with Bethany Johnson-Javois, CEO of the St. Louis Integrated Health Network and Managing Director of the Ferguson Commission. Today we expand the conversation of Alive and Well STL to engage in the next steps of this initiative.
One of the biggest things is that people are hopeful. So not a lot of comments about what happens today. Everybody's already thinking about what would the future look like. But what was most surprising for me about what happens today, if a person has some type of chronic disease, mental health, mental illness, substance abuse, or HIV, there are supports available.
We'll be right back.
So Charlotte, tell me first, what is your definition of being alive and well?
For me, being alive and well means a great place in your health, a great place in your mental health, and just an overall sense of well-being.
Emily, tell me, what is your definition of alive and well?
Having a good quality of life, being healthy, just really having that great quality of life.
Alive and Well STL. You were invited to the table as an ambassador. You play an important role, and we look forward to your participation. Come on in for the sake of the future of our community.
So Amy, what brings you here to the Ambassador Open House this morning?
Being part of Alive and Well has been a really important factor in St. Louis in general, and being a part of that is important to me. Given the prevalence of trauma, getting this out there is huge, and so every event that I can go and promote this and talk to more people about is why I'm here.
Are you finding that more people are catching on to the movement of Alive and Well?
Definitely. I mean, even from my own perspective, I wasn't involved at first, and then as I got more into it and got more flyers and got on Bonfire, which I wasn't on until recently, the network of conversations that are going on and even the postings that are going on, leading people to other conversations, that's been great. And even coming here and finding people to connect with and grabbing business cards and saying, oh, I'm going to talk to you afterwards, and spreading that even further has been great. Are you walking out of today's session having learned something different or feeling refreshed, or how are you feeling? I would say empowered. I would say I've had several conversations one-on-one with people and kind of what they're doing and grabbing ideas from them and giving them ideas and just that networking piece of how we can help each other make this grow even further, which I think is kind of what this is about, so that's great. Any lasting message you want to leave with listeners before you go? Just know that when you walk around, I know trauma is always this removed thing that people think, oh, it's not me. And I challenge people to think of trauma in the perspective of events in life. And a lot of times I had a conversation about media and kind of what that triggers. And people don't call that trauma. But if you look at how you feel when you go to sleep or when you can't sleep at night, what did that do to you, and why are you not sleeping? Mm-hmm. And think about all those other people that you pass, so kind of that's the awareness piece. Great food for thought. Amy, thank you for joining us. Thank you. So Charlotte, tell me what brought you to today's event.
Well, I work for Places for People in St. Louis, Missouri, and this is one of the initiatives that our company wanted us to come out and support and learn a little bit more about what it meant to be a part of a trauma-informed community.
So tell me about the specific case study scenario that you were looking at.
Well, today we did a case study about an ex-offender who had just left prison after serving 2 years of a 7-year sentence. So he was being reintroduced into the community on a 5-year probationary trial.
What was the facilitator asking you to do in that scenario?
She wanted us to identify ways that we could help this ex-offender be reintegrated into the community safely.
Given what you do every day, how realistic is this scenario and what you see in our community?
Well, for me personally, what I see is that people who exit prison have to have a very specific plan and a very specific and detailed support team around them in order to survive on the outside once they've been institutionalized.
So I'm assuming that's part of the feedback that you gave. Are there any other contributions that you made to the discussion to help us understand this scenario?
Well, we felt that it was not only up to the person who was leaving prison to seek their way in the community, but it was necessary for providers to also find ways to support these people so that they don't return to prison, find ways, know ways, and not look for ways after they've gotten out, but have these resources already lined up so that it's not a cat and mouse game of who could help you. We don't know, let us find out, so that those things are really laid out, very specific and robust type of interventions that would help that person remain in the community safely.
Did you have any discoveries, anything that you thought of differently?
Well, differently, I can probably say that, again, instead of focusing on the person, what they did, why they were in prison, that's really no longer the focus. And the focus was about us being well informed and us as providers being educated to the point that when these people are released, we can help them regardless of what their offense was and how we felt about what they did, who they harmed. It's all about giving that person another opportunity in life and get them back into the community safely.
Restoration is so important. So Charlotte, anything else based on your experience that you'd like to share with our audience?
No, I'm just a nurse, and I'm happy to be a nurse. I'm happy to serve the community. Places for People is a great facility. I'm working for them now and learning that we are in business to help people, and that's what we love to do.
And thank you for your leadership, and thank you for being here today to talk with us more about how to be alive and well practically. Thank you for being an ambassador.
Thank you.
Angie, tell me about what's going on in the room and what's your role.
So it's a lot of energy and excitement in the room. What we do, we have people walking around looking at different case studies to sort of look what an experience is like for a person that's going through a particular situation, and then talk about their reaction that would take place today, the supports that will be available for the patient today, the outcome that may happen for the person today, and then to look forward at the future and then think about what would be different if we were living in a trauma-informed community. My role today has been to facilitate the conversation around an ex-offender who was recently released from prison, had been there, served 2 years of his 7 years, doesn't have a lot of family, has a brother that's in jail, his mom and dad are passed away, and he's sort of released into this 30 days center, and thinking about what happens to him today and then for the future. Sort of my role there.
So as you listen to those that are coming by your station, what observations can you share with us? What's interesting from what people are saying?
One of the biggest thing is that people are hopeful. So not a lot of comments about what happens today. Everybody's already thinking about what would the future look like for this person. But what was most surprising for me about what happens today, if a person has some type of chronic disease, mental health, mental illness, substance abuse, or HIV, there are supports available. One lady was saying a person with HIV, they would start providing support 6 months before the person leaves prison, 6 months after they are released. There are supports available. And if the person wanted to relocate to be with other families somewhere else, they would even support that. She even went as far as to say that people have actually said to her, having HIV was the best thing that ever happened to my life. Because once they were able to get those supports, they were able to live a better quality of life. And just to think about that, for a regular person, if this person didn't have a different illness, that there is nothing out there for him.
And human beings need supports regardless.
They need support.
So it is disappointing. You need to have a chronic disease to be able to get what you need.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's really like people would start telling people, just get HIV before you leave. Yeah. Fake a mental illness.
Yeah. No, that's not the solution.
It's not the solution.
Yeah. So leave us with some hope. What are you hopeful about in terms of today, or anything that you're surprised about in terms of today?
I think the energy was very rewarding to see, and it gives me hope that there is change that could come about. People are even talking about, even the room today, a lot of different people from different backgrounds and careers that want to talk about how getting out to educate the community at large, really providing resources for those patients regardless of what their issues are. So there is support that they don't fall through the system. So
Absolutely.
it's been a very good experience. So good.
Great. Well, go jump back in. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Emily, tell me, what constitutes quality of life for you?
For me, it's strong mental health, strong physical health, working toward your goals of that. taking care of yourself, seeing your doctors, working out daily, eating well.
So as you came in today, which scenario did you have to respond to as part of the Alive and Well trauma-informed community building?
We discussed an ex-offender who was leaving prison after 2 years and is on 5 years of parole. At the time, when the offender was released, that they're only giving about 30 days of a place to stay. That was something that really stuck out to me, is that there's only 30 days, and this offender didn't have, family or supports that I would hope for coming out of prison.
So based on your discussion, what was the trauma-informed approach to be taken with this individual?
I think a lot of the trauma-informed care approach was to really think about what affected that offender. What can we do to help the offender? What can we change institutionally or structurally? What can we do more to help them? What can we put in place? What education can we offer to the offender and to the community as well, so that we can have a symbiotic relationship with that person?
As you reflect on our community, do we have things in place in St. Louis that can be helpful in this type of scenario?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not educated on that enough to know whether to say we do or we don't. I would hope that we would. I would think that that would be something that would be wonderful to help people in this situation.
And in the instance where it's not available in the community, it allows us to know that there's a gap that we need to fill, particularly in this scenario with this gentleman. So what, if any, discoveries did you have either about yourself or about the community or about this scenario that you want to share?
I really discovered that I kind of bought into the stigma of, there's an ex-offender and this is a person who's committed a crime, and, you think negatively of that person. And I had to take a step back and say, whoa, you can't think like that. This is someone who is trying to rehabilitate themselves, who needs to be a viable part of our community, and really take that step.
Speaking of stigma, Emily, language is so important, and we call this individual an ex-offender. But then we turn around and say we need to offer hope and to be able to provide restoration. It's a little bit of a dichotomy or inconsistency there.
Exactly. This individual, I should say,
It's part of the scenario. Anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners that you think is important?
I just think that, trauma-informed care is such an important thing to really know and just understand where each of us is coming from.
That's right. Seek to understand, then to be understood.
Exactly.
Thank you, Emily, for being an Alive and Well ambassador here in St. Louis and in the region. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, have a good morning.
Alive and Well, STL. Now let's equip ourselves with the tools and information we can share with family, friends, and colleagues about how they can become alive and well. We are excited about this opportunity. This exciting information was shared with our participants and volunteers from our Alive and Well Ambassador Open House. We bring it to you, our listeners, to be a part and engage as well. All are welcome to attend. Listen closely for more of the Alive and Well STL Ambassadors Initiative.
We are grateful for your gift of time to this conversation. We encourage you to stay involved and get involved.
If you, your family, or your organization is interested in talking about how we better the well-being of the region, sign up for more information, join the conversation, log on to aliveandwellstl.com, and let's build a plan on how we can work together and improve our overall health and become alive and well. The Regional Health Commission, with Chief Executive Officer Robert Friend Jr., committed to providing a detailed review of change over the past decade and 14 leading health indicators for the city and county of St. Louis. The first decade review of health status report, an update to building a healthier St. Louis. Discover the narrative, the data, and celebrate the progress already made to improve healthcare access and reduce health disparities in our region. Learn more at stlrhc.org. Alive and Well STL is another positive production of Rare Gem Productions. Thanks for listening.